President Biden is pushing a $2.3 trillion infrastructure package. Some of the proposals in it go beyond improving the country's physical infrastructure. Republicans in Congress say they have a problem with that, but it might not be a huge problem for women voters. Last month, Lake Research Partners conducted its inaugural Women's Tracker survey. It polled a diverse group of women and found bipartisan backing for some major components of the president's coronavirus relief package, like support for non-traditional childcare hours. It's an issue also addressed in Mr. Biden's infrastructure plan. Democratic pollster Celinda Lake joins me now. She is the president of Lake Research Partners and advised President Biden's 2020 campaign. Celinda, welcome. What parts of the president's infrastructure plan might resonate most with women?
So women like the traditional parts of the infrastructure plan. They like roads and bridges. They really like investing in schools and hospitals as well. But women really respond very strongly to the more human caring infrastructure as well, and think it's absurd to call it, not to say, what is infrastructure? That's not real infrastructure. And one of the women in our focus group said it best, that the childcare, having quality daycare, is just as important as having a good road or train to get to the work that I do. So this is an essential component. We also have very, very dramatic polling around the impact that the pandemic had on women. And three things really emerged. One, tremendous experience with mental health issues. 64% of women said they had experienced that directly. Two, tremendous experience with increased caregiving responsibilities for aging parents as well as children, and children schooling from home. And three, very profound impact in terms of loss of loved ones. And that was particularly strong for women of color. 40% of women of color said that they had personally lost someone, a friend or family member they were grieving. So as we come out of this pandemic and as we try to get the economy going, we're really seeing the impact of the caregiving infrastructure and the support and the critical nature of it that women have. And that's why, while men's employment has been improving, women's employment has not, and in fact been continuing to decrease, because there has to be caregiving infrastructure as well as bricks and mortar if women are going to get back to work and women are going to be able to support thriving families and healthy families.
What does all that mean, Celinda, for messaging around the president's infrastructure plan, both from Democrats and Republicans?
So first of all, the caregiving agenda is something that the Republicans have really gone after, but remarkable amounts of it are very, very bipartisanly supported. So 60% of Republicans, over 60% of Republicans, over 60% of Trump voters support expanded affordable daycare for non-traditional hours, because women believe that as they come back into the workforce and the workforce out of home, that they're going to have to deal with more and more flexibility and irregularity in scheduling. Secondly, as part of an overall economic package, linking the jobs plan and the families plan is essential. For women, the caregiving piece is essential for the jobs and provides a lot of employment for women. And for selling the caregiving piece, particularly to men, it's important to link it to the economy and to jobs. So linking the two, very, very important. The Republicans and the conservatives are trying to break it apart and not being very successful at it, because particularly among women, including Republican women, these two things are intimately linked.
Before we let you go, we only have about a minute left, Celinda. What about cost? We hear Republicans talking a lot about the cost of this. How concerned are women about the price of this infrastructure plan?
Not very concerned. Women aren't that concerned about the price of it. And in addition, women really like the way that it's being proposed to pay for it. They love the fact that the taxes are going on people over $400,000 and corporations that haven't paid their fair share or have been incredibly profitable in the pandemic and paid zero taxes. And they know they don't have the lobbyists or the accountants to get the same kind of tax breaks that Amazon and other corporations are getting. So the pay mechanism is very, very popular. And in fact, talking about the specifics about how the plan is paid for increases the popularity of the plan for women. The other thing that's very popular about the plan is to talk about how it helps all families. Women really love the inclusion piece of the agenda and the fact that all families are going to get some help with child care tax credits. All ordinary or everyday families going to get some help with child care. Women really love the inclusion of this program and projects.
All right, really interesting findings, Celinda Lake for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.